week 17 of the season. Coming in hot no matter what you're playing for. Welcome to the People's Pod. This week's episode is from Mexico. Con Gall and Gall. Suave. Que bueno. Lucky Colin, Dolphins defense saved you. Adam takes the sack of deja vu. Just one more week of the season. Throwing all my money on the underdog menage a trois. Champion of Frisbee touchdown. Will either be Evan or Sean? Who the fuck is Sean?
What's up, fam? Thanks for tuning in to this week's Abridged People's Podcast. Once again, Kurt with a hilarious jingle. Since our boy Colin is in Mexico and the Wi-Fi there isn't as reliable as we had planned, I'm taking over this week's solo show, except for we decided to interview some of our key players this week. So there will be an abridged pod from me, and then we'll get into some interviews with the championship matchup and our two-time defending Sacco champion. So just quickly talking through the third place game. The Landry Down Under takes on Fro Debo the Ball More. I really love that name. I've got Bill winning this one. Currently, Scott is starting Jacksonville's defense against New England. That is super sus. I'd be surprised if that stays, but it's already Thursday, so that's a little weird. I think Bill's team is going to pull this one out just based on matchups alone. I think that Scott's team has a lot of tough matchups. Let's just, I don't know. Antonio Brown versus the Jets. They're not the worst defense in the league. Russell Gage against the Bills. That's tough. I don't know. This one's fun. I hope it's a shootout. Feels like it will be. But I'm taking Blood Diamond Bill in this matchup. Kind of makes sense to recap last week. I think we were all watching 1 week forward. Let's look behind now. That's great planning on my part. But we had Menage a Trois take down Bill. How did Bill and Scott get to that third place game? Well, O'Malley put up a whopping 151, high score of the week. Unfortunately for him, there's no more weekly bonuses. But good job, O'Malley. That was a fun matchup. And then America, fuck yeah. Evan took down Scott. This was not nearly as close as the other matchup. This was basically locked up as soon as Dak Prescott just went on a revenge tour on Sunday night. And then we were all tuning in to the Sacco matchup. Our beloved Colin Dent versus If I Die Young, Burrow Me, and Sadden. We were all on Team Adam here. Joe Burrow did his best to put the team on his back, but he just couldn't overcome O'Malley's fuck up by dropping the Miami defense. And poor Ian Book just having the worst night of his life, even though he didn't look that bad. But yeah, we were all tuning in. There was some great content there. We'll hear a little bit more about this from Adam in his interview. Quickly going through some of this week's matchups. Already covered the third place game. I'll just hop into the consolation bracket. Nobody really cares at this point. Henry got Hurts, me versus Max. Currently, Max has a 30-point Bush advantage. I agree with it. My team is in shambles. My receivers are not what not what I purchased on draft day. They are just not performing. Combine that with a lot of weather for my team and not nearly as many weather icons for Max's. I think I'm going to get blown out here. Hopping over to Pebbles versus Bacon. Bacon's team is low key, very good. He's got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, probably not going to play this week, still in his starting lineup, so we might get to see a Gascon start. Dalvin Cook is questionable with an illness, non-COVID illness, since he just had COVID. Wonder how that's going to play out. I am taking, Bacon here. I think his team is just better, despite the late season surge from Fields of Broken Dreams. Get fucked, Pebbles. And cool. That's it. All there is now is the finals matchup. We have the classic dark horse team in the sixth seeded Menage a Trois versus the season-long powerhouse in Marika Fuck Yeah. Both teams look like they are at full strength this week, which is awesome. No COVID-related players out. James Robinson being out sucks for O'Malley, but he picked up Dare Ongumbole Boawale. So, handcuff. I don't know what's going to happen there. They are playing New England, which is a very tough matchup. I think that I got to ride with the first seed here. He's got currently an 8-point projection Bush lead. It'll be interesting to see if Kareem Hunt plays. He's still sidelined for Thursday. He was just recently activated from COVID. That'll be interesting. If not, I bet Christian Kirk or Tony Pollard will slide into that slot, or maybe Elijah Moore. Who knows? He's still got COVID apparently. But I'm rolling with eBird, even though everybody loves a good underdog story. Regardless, I think the whole league is celebrating this matchup because we have, non-Stu versus Bill. Stu nor Bill are in the championship game, and we are all excited about that. We're ready for some fresh blood with the fantasy trophy. So that's all the content that I have prepared for now. We're going to hop into some interviews, from our defending Sacco champion, and then the championship matchup. We'll hear from each of the contenders themselves. I hope you all enjoy this new segment. Peace. And we're live. Joining the People's Pod today, our very own two-time Sacco defending champion of the Frisbee touchdown, Adam Brydon.
That's the saddest entrance I hope I'll ever have. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
I'm glad you asked. I'm struggling. I'm struggling harder than my fantasy roster.
Uh-oh.
I have 2 ear infections. I can't hear out of this one at all right now. And so I am high as a kite, as the kids say.
No beers for you tonight?
No beers. We got water, which doesn't help. Nice. Oh, I love that. But I do owe a drink for the champions consolation bracket. We ended up losing. You did your best. My team didn't.
Yeah, I think I almost got my season high, and it wasn't enough.
You peaked at the right time. It just
So where was the rest of our consolation bros? Come on, help us out.
Alvin Camario just got hit with the book.
No, I'm sorry to hear about your ear infections. those are annoying and painful as hell. They just like I think I've had one once and it was like couldn't move my neck. Like everything was wrong.
Luckily my teeth in front are so big because that's all I can chew with right now. I can't even close my jaw. It's crazy. But anyways, the biggest headline of this week's pod, obviously, is that you once again returned to greatness. And I was hoping you could share a little bit about your weekend and then how the fantasy weekend treated you. What was going on in your mind? But by the way, kudos to all of the group me content. I was loving your back and forth with Colin. So that was super fun.
Yeah, it was overall thanks for having me, by the way. It was interesting weekend. It was like exciting but weird but hard, like emotionally draining. But I mean, like although I don't have any ear infections, so like physically I'm okay. So I got a drink for that. So it was obviously Christmas, the holidays, pretty big thing for my family in general. In the past, we'll do like get together on like little Christmas Eve, was what we call it, the day before Christmas Eve, where my mom makes a million baked goods and enchiladas, and it's amazing. And then we get together for Christmas Eve, usually at my grandparents, historically, great grandparents before them. And then on Christmas Day, we'll do like a whole day thing at my parents with like waffles. So it's just like a historically extravaganza. But unfortunately, my dad and brother came down with COVID, like I think Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday is when they got their positive tests. And so like we had all these plans to go over there, and then kind of last minute decided to, rein everything back, and ended up just doing Christmas with just Noelle and I, which was super different and weird considering like my family I have like a lot of sisters and a brother, and it's just like kind of bigger. But at the same time, two of my sisters were already not going to be in town. My other sister and my brother kind of work interesting hour or off hours. So I think they were also going to be not as around as much as when we were kids and stuff. So it was already kind of scaled back. So ended up like calling an audible, but then it ended up being like really good time. We made like a ton of food on like Christmas Eve. We made a turkey. We made Noelle made this really good mac and cheese and broccoli and bacon dish that was amazing. And so like with cranberry juice or cranberry sauce, and then she made a banana cream pie that was like money. And so like we were able to like adult our way through it and actually like make our own like Christmas Eve feast for ourselves. So that was pretty cool. Christmas Day was mostly like recovering from that, like watching a little bit of football, just like kind of more Christmas movies. So yeah, it was a lot of like adjusting to like the bummer circumstances. By the way, my dad and my brother are like in good shape. They're like recovering, so everything's going well. It's just can't go sit in the house with them. So looking to like probably do that either for like New Year's, depending. I gotta look into like when they're gonna be ready, but either New Year's or like we'll do something like to redo the Christmas a little bit. So yeah, and then into the weekend, into the actual watching of football. Then it was the day after Christmas was Sunday, and I just like parked myself on my couch with some beers and was ready to go. And yeah, like early on I was feeling pretty bad just because like Chubb did so well on like Thursday, I think, right?
Yeah.
No, that was Saturday.
45-12 after Thursday night football, early lead.
Yeah. So I was like feeling a little bit down, and like this is the classic. Bill and I have talked about this with like the Raiders. The classic thing where like I walked into the week like talking a lot of shit, but knowing that like chances are pretty low. But then like all of a sudden Burrow drops like the fourth most yards ever in a game at like 520 or something, gets me almost 40 without running it in once, which is like, those are like Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen stats where they rush in half of their touchdowns. So I was like feeling really good. Jalen Hurts, right? Obviously, Cam Newton, yes, the ones who can't throw either. So then I was feeling like really good, or like optimistic now. Now I'm feeling optimistic. And then we go into the Broncos game, and Melvin Gordon's just getting nothing but like catches and rushes for 0 yards. And like Javonte Adams gets the vulture touchdown after Carr just hands the ball to the other team right before the half. Oh, it's like ridiculous. So I'm like huge come up that game, even though my team didn't score well. Like Melvin Gordon didn't do well. So I'm feeling pretty great. Now I'm drinking heavily and like starting to feel it a lot. And then we obviously were like, I was like, had a couple shots during the Sunday night game, watching Zeke outperform CD. So like, it's just laid up for me, right? Like all those things happen. I was at a ridiculous, like compared to where I started, like halftime of the 10 a.m. games to like where I ended the night on Sunday, feeling amazing, pretty drunk, was really great. And then I woke up, was all hungover. I did not feel good at all. And then went like 4:30, Noah and I went for a walk around the lake here. And that put me back at like 5:30 here after the game started. So I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna miss the first few minutes of the game, but it'll be fine. And then all of a sudden I get like the oh my God, pick six, group me. And I told this to Colin, like I almost threw my phone into the lake. Like I was just like, that was like the one thing that like they could get sacks, you know, they could do some stuff, but as long as there's like some points scored and then no pick sixes, like it'll be close. And a pick six to start. And I was just like pretty low after that. Like I think, anyway, to sum it all up, yeah, that was it was a bummer. You know, there are worse things. There are ear infections. There's COVID. There's I'm sure I'll be in a better mood. Stu texted me. I was telling him I already like I'm up a little bit more than like halftime of the halftime to like second half of that game. I was just like, this sucks. Watching that poor guy get like just, I don't know if I've seen a worse, like he didn't throw a lot of picks, but he was getting sacked everywhere. Like it was like the Peterman game of sacks instead of picks.
1 or 2 seconds to get rid of the ball every single play. I felt like he was evading the D lineman quite well. Like it should have been a 15 sack game.
Yeah, well, and there's like he's like about to throw it out of bounds, and then they tackle him like out of bounds. It's just like just throw it. You're not getting anything. But yeah, it was, and then like I had a couple of moves I could have done to maybe make it closer, but like, you know, you live and learn, and it didn't go my way. Like I said, I scored like 122 points is like probably my second highest of the year, so which is sad in itself. So I can't really get too upset. But yeah, kudos to Colin scoring 137 in the Sacco game, clutching up. You still got 11th place, so I wouldn't be too excited. It's not going to do well for your overall standings that you love so much and love probably 3 times more than anybody else. So still got to throw a little bit of sand on that.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was my weekend.
Let's not bring those rankings up, shall we? Because I have now moved into the Sacco position of those.
I don't know, 2 12s in a row. I'm wondering how that's doing for mine. It's just
yeah.
Cut it down.
What a turn of events. Ever since the curse, you just haven't been able to claw your way back into the pre-modern era dominance that you enjoyed.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's not going right, making the wrong moves or moves I think work that don't work out well, or the ones that work just aren't big enough. So
yeah,
it's like we always say, it's like so random. Like I don't know. I thought my team was. We were talking about like worst teams of all time. I don't know if my team is like the worst of all time, but my team last year was like way better than this year's team. Like I had Devontae Adams like dragging me to like over 100 points all the time. I don't know. It's just weird, but I'm definitely, I'm not as motivated as like I was a few weeks ago for sure. Looking forward to next year, but you know, I'm sure the spring will come. And then the fall, and I'll be all excited about, you know, football again when we do our draft, wherever that may be. I'll be practicing my beer pong shot, trying to get the belt, start with that victory, and then, you know, see how many victories I can add on after that.
Yeah, man, I feel you.
Today's a low day, but yeah.
The winds of change when football is like on the mind, just the world changes. We're coming up on a dark era, and you get to enjoy it. You're the first person to truly enjoy, I guess, Colin as well. No fantasy like implications for you. Like,
Yeah, it's a nice relief. Yeah, it is like a nice thing to not have to do like waivers yesterday. I was like, fuck it. Like, I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
With my zero money, picking up another
Fair.
wide receiver that's just gonna get 3 points. It's fine.
How is Noelle over the weekend? She obviously is aware of the implications. Was she there with you the whole time? Was she helping drink your team to victory?
She was there with me in spirit. She was or it was physically, but not drinking wise, but she was supporting me for sure through the whole thing. She felt really bad and was just trying to cheer me up. But yeah, she's bummed, but she also said she's excited to be cinematographer again, and she's thinking about making herself her own medal. Like we have workshop some other names, but she was thinking like, you know, the Scorsese Award or the Spielberg, you know, best cinematographer director. So if anybody out there has any ideas as to what that award could be, you know, let's just make more participation trophies for us non-winners.
That's so fun. The Sacco trophy gets a +1 trophy for the partner. That's dope. I love the idea. I'm way into it.
Yeah. How was your weekend? Both, you know, holiday wise and football.
Holiday wise was great. I love, you know, Christmas, and you know, we just like you we had our own little COVID situation where we went to nationals the week before, right. And you know, luckily my whole immediate family was there, so that part of Christmas was fine. We go to grandma's house and hang out with all the cousins, and we get a text. Katie gets a text from some skirts saying that they've tested positive. And we're like already there with grandma, you know, just like, all right, well, what do we do? But luckily, you know, Caitlin has tested negative multiple times. So seems like we dodged a bullet there. You know,
yeah, it's a nice, pretty that one out.
I know. Yeah. Leading up to college nationals, I was just like, man, are we making the right decision to go to this thing? You know, just like, we're still in a pandemic. There's people everywhere, but you know, let the one demon win. And it was fun. It was a good time. I lost to Bacon, but you know, truly, I set the lineup that I thought was the best. I didn't really care. You know, I was happy to cheer along all the other cooler matchups. Yeah, it's my move to lose in the consolation bracket.
You love it.
I love it. It's where I'm at. But it's led me to a lot of reflection, and so I'm sure you've done a lot of reflection over the course of the season. I'm curious what you think, like, the biggest failure of your team was. And you know, I have two in mind, but I'm curious what yours is.
Failure. I think it's tough to like. I think the biggest failure is tough to like pinpoint down, but there was like a turning point. I think like early on in the season, I had a winning record, or like at one point I went on this like huge losing streak. But before then, I actually think I either had a winning record or I was like in the playoff hunt like picture. And I didn't really have that strong of a team. And so I was not really expansive. Like I should have been like workshopping more trades to like figure out how to sustain that. This was like before Calvin Ridley went down. Basically, as soon as Calvin Ridley was like kind of domino one and like all the things, like I think the result of the trades I made, the trade I made with Colin is probably fine because I was one less running back to kind of tag team and worry about with Javonte Williams, and then I get like a quarterback, but he was kind of hit or miss. So I think like that, if I had done a little bit of a different trade there, either just like broadly thinking, that may have let me move some of my wide receivers that were either about to go down or about to fall off a cliff, like Courtland Sutton, you know, I think might have been a better turn of events for like the outcome that happened, like kind of, but I don't know. I mean, like I had the, I think, second most moves behind Colin. So I was like definitely trying each time. I just didn't get, it seemed like everyone I picked up either I spent money or like Kadarius Toney did super well and then like injured COVID basically the rest of the year. And it's like, or like randomly weirdly utilized. So like thought I had these guys to come in and like win. And then I ended up spending too much time on them more than like fab. So then I was like invested and then didn't go after other people. So I think biggest the turning point for me or like mistake was not being more aggressive when I knew that my team wasn't the strongest and I still had like a good standing.
Yeah.
What about what are your thoughts?
That's so hard too, right? Because you're riding the momentum waves, like, oh, I'm not strong, but I'm doing good. Like I felt the same way about my team before Derrick Henry went down. I was just like, I'm good, but I'm not great. I need to make a move. But yeah, I think Calvin Ridley going down was, huge because your receiver core was just flustered from there on out, right? Obviously Godwin at the end there. That's nothing you can do about that. But yeah, I think you just had terrible luck. Yeah. Tony, you picked up, it was the Jaguars receiver and they got hurt on the first play of the game. Agnew.
I picked up Agnew and I'm pretty sure a player on the Titans. I forget his name. It was Michael Jordan. And they both got like injured and ended up going on IR that week. I mean, they didn't go on IR in the game, but that was my joke that like by the end of the week they were on IR.
Yeah.
like it was just kind of weird stuff. And I had like a really low points against, so I like squandered a good schedule. Like it was just I couldn't seem to put 10 players that would do well together. I've thought about some slight tweaks to like my draft strategy. I think that I'm going to employ small. I don't want to like change everything. Just slight tweaks. And then it was just, like, how could I be like, I don't know. I think there was one move I maybe could have done, but I don't even know if that would have done everything. You know what I mean? There's so much luck in like who goes off when and how should I have known it? And Bill's talked about it a bunch. Like he offered Debo out as like a trade to 3 different people. It's like, when do you give up on the high draft pick and go after the guy who's performing? As an Ayuk owner, I probably should have like made that like transition. Okay, screw Ayuk. Debo's clearly won it. Calvin's not doing anything yet. Go with what's working. But also there's the 5 out of 10 other times that it's the opposite.
Yeah.
A lot of reflection, not a lot of answers.
Any just misses, things that you would consider doing that didn't pan out? Like, for instance, for me, I wanted to bid a lot on Cordarrelle Patterson. I last second tinkered my bid down, and it was enough to lose the player. So that was it. That would have drastically changed my season's trajectory, right? So anything like that?
I mean, in the discussions with Colin for the trade, not to go too far into the weeds with it, but like we had talked about like a receiver instead of Javonte. And so like it's kind of part of my miss thing where like, if I had just moved Cortland Sutton before Judy came back, like it was it's so obvious looking back on it, like Bridgewater, Drew Lock, trying to support both those guys. Neither of them worked. Like if I could have just gotten anything for him, and I had at one point thought about it, didn't really go. It's not super near misses though. Like I didn't lower my bid or anything like that on anything. Actually, someone made fun of the Cordarrelle Patterson, calling him Corduroy Patterson when Brad picked him up, and I immediately regretted that.
We've all been there with
I mean, how many teams is the guy gonna flash on? He's like, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's crazy. Actually, we're coming up on our dedicated amount of time. The People's Pod's budget could only get so much of the Adam Bolenboss. So looking forward, now that you're stress-free, do you have any thoughts on this week's championship matchup? Who are you pulling for?
I honestly wasn't even looking at it until like yesterday or today. Today being Wednesday. Like I just was so caught up in mine, I hadn't even looked at like the championship bracket. But I think the coolest thing is that it's two new people, so like that's kind of fun. Like love Bill, but you know he has too many championships. We all know this. He's
Bill,
always
but
in it.
fuck it.
It's. I think he can take a year off at the championship game. So I'm like, I'm just excited to see like O'Malley versus Evan. Yeah, the three kids versus the two kids. Who will you know come out on top? Got a little Bay Area showdown. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm most excited. It's going to be new. I'm excited to see their celebration. Last year we got Stu drinking and like you know cradling the trophy in a like beautiful Instagram-esque picture with the lighting. I could hear a song in the background when I looked at it still. So we can see, we'll see what, like, I'm excited to see who celebrates harder if they win. My money's on O'Malley because he doesn't have two newborns in his house for celebrating, but I think Evan, I'm sure will do something.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about?
Yeah, I think, well, Stu, when he got married, set the highest score in the league, right? So I think that the twins are going to carry Evan to his championship. So that'll be fun for him.
Selfishly, I want O'Malley to win because of the Sacco burden that he's carried. Like I didn't fully understand like how sad it is, and he's done it 3 times. And I think he's also won a game, right? Like, hasn't he like, I think won in one of the Saccos. So he's like 3 for 4 or something. I'm 2 for 3. So I'm going to go opposite of you respectfully. Good luck to both of them. But, you know, for my own redemption out of the Sacco, I'm going to root for O'Malley.
Right on. Well, man, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for your time. It's always nice to see your face, and I'm sure the fans are gonna love hearing your voice again.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good season. I'll be cheering. I'll be following along this weekend. Good luck to everybody.
Yeah, good luck, everybody.
And we're live.
We're live, everybody. Welcome, O'Malley. It was kind of annoying. Your manager made me work pretty hard to get some of your time today. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an important man, but anything for you and the People's Pod.
When the People's Pod calls, you expect a
Pick
little
up.
bit more like willingness. I don't know, your manager though. I owe 2 OTPHJs before the end of the year. So that's fun.
You have to give them that Christmas bonus.
Yeah. How's it going, man? How's life? How's the season been treating you?
Life's good, man. Just got through the holidays. I'm actually going to Vegas. I leave tomorrow.
Are you scouting out locations for
Yeah.
draft?
It's purely research. I'm going to submit an expense report to the league. So I expect that to be fully repaid.
I'm sure our shadow government has quite the budget.
Yeah, I've already worked that out with them. Season was touch and go for a bit, but somehow we're here. And
yeah,
things are great. And apparently I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, your road has been quite successful recently. You took down the juggernauts and Team Smuggy, and then Fro Debo the Ball, Blood Diamond Bill. That's impressive.
I high scored last week. Unfortunately, that wasn't the final week. So now I gotta do it again.
Gotta do it again. Or, well, that's not always true, right? You could use the Bill strategy of just have to score more than Evan.
Slightly better low score.
This year is crazy. It's crazy to see you back in the championship, and back-to-back championship years for you. What would you credit your success to? The recent change on, right? Because you're like a three-time Sacco winner. What's going on? What subscription are you buying?
Well, I can't tell you guys that, obviously. Then my edge will disappear. So let's say I figured out that scoring more points is better than scoring less points.
the old Maddenism.
Yeah.
To win the game, you gotta score more points than your opponent.
Also, not drafting Ben has been helpful.
Big Ben.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
finally learned my lesson there.
Going back to that old well.
I didn't learn my lesson on Steelers receivers, but
I did. Yeah, that's so funny how things work out. Like I was thinking about this as I was like preparing, and there were so many hotshot young, like snag these receivers late. Like Terrace Marshall on the Panthers was supposed to be a stud, right? The New Orleans Saints guy, not Traquan, the other one, Callaway.
anyone on the Saints? Do we know their name?
Somebody on the Saints.
Taysom Hill.
Claypool was supposed to be one of those guys too for mid-round, like could be WR1.
Or draft him really early as your best wide receiver on your team.
I remember draft day just thinking, what the fuck is O'Malley doing? I don't get it. Like,
I didn't know what I was doing either. As I think most people figured out. That's the secret, guys.
You just found your
Random
way.
number generators next to a player list.
Damn it. I don't understand numbers. That's my issue. So
Maybe that's what Evan did.
having admitted now that you had no strategy on draft day, what would you say your best move of the year was then?
Oh, well, getting 3 running backs on draft day was great. Trying to look at my team. Who did I pick up on waivers this year?
Dalton Schultz, I think, was a big one.
Schultz was a good one. That was my 0 tight end strat. Dallas D. I've been pretty lucky with my defenses.
Gosh,
The right matchups.
Should we pause a moment there and pour one out for the Miami defense debacle?
I felt so guilty. I'm so sorry, Adam, from the bottom of my heart. I can't believe I robbed everyone the chance to see Colin in the Sacco.
Oh man, he was such a champion with like everybody was cheering for him to win the Sacco.
All of you people who are bad at budgeting, well, hopefully you learned a lesson.
What's that got to do with anything? I didn't need a defense. I had 3 defenses at the time.
You play keep away. I didn't need a defense.
Yeah, it's true. I could have. No, I wouldn't have won anything.
Brad was too poor to keep away.
Yeah, it's your fault. Don't try to deflect.
But Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson, totally worth keeping. Ugh. I'm glad
0
you brought
points.
that. Oh yeah. Are those 2 it? Schultz and both Dallas pickups were your best moves of the season.
Those were my good pickups, I think. Other than that, I've had 3 running backs. And that's it.
It was pretty clutch of you to have Justin Jackson rostered for the.
Yeah, that worked out. I forgot why I picked. I think it was just maybe Eckler at a Q tag or some shit. I forget why I had him, but that was very fortunate.
It's a big move. Saved you.
Yeah, and now I got Agunga Boongala on Jacksonville to replace Robinson.
There. Definitely
There,
Agunga,
Agunga
right?
Boongala.
Well, I hope that's a successful play for you.
Uh,
Gotta be feeling good about that one. Meanwhile,
I feel real good about a new player in my roster on week 16.
yeah. Meanwhile, Tyler Boyd has been just put me in, coach. Put me in. And you've been
He's setting me up to let me down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put him in and he's gonna do his bullshit. Tyler Boyd, 2 catches for 11 yards.
Man, yeah, you have a curse. This is like the fun and worst part about fantasy when you actually have options of like people that can produce and arguably will produce.
I'll probably just go back to the random number generator on this week's lineup.
You got to be stoked to have Waddle back, huh?
Dude, Waddle. He's probably been my best pickup.
Wow. Yeah, great shot in the dark draft pick.
Is he offensive rookie of the year? Or has Jam Jar locked that up?
Jam jar. Oh man, what an epic move for poor old Peebly. What? Yeah, he's got to be up there. No, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
He's not a rookie, is he? No, he's a second
No.
year, I think.
No, sorry.
He might be offensive player of the year.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were asking. Oh man,
Possibly MVP.
your boy is a little high right now. It's the perfect time to do interviews when you're a little
Yeah.
low. You know?
Yeah. So do I need to say this is all off the record?
All off the record,
Okay.
officially off the record with the People's Pod. So with now your team page up, how are you feeling going into the championship matchup? Are you
I don't feel great.
the numbers generator has you as the underdog?
Yeah, and my number generator is spitting out a lot of low numbers as well. I'm really looking at Evans Ayuk, and if I lose to another person that like Adam dropped at the beginning of the year, I'm just gonna lose my shit. I feel like didn't I lose to Stu who picked up Kelsey or some shit off the
No, that was me, and it was Kittle last year.
Kittle?
He was
Yeah.
supposed to be done for the season, and he came back for the last two games. Like, what?
But Evan and I will have an interesting one. I'm throwing to his tight end. He's throwing to my wideout. We have so much in this Dallas Arizona game right now. I think that's why we're both where we are. We've been heavy on Dallas.
There's a lot of fantasy points for those good teams.
Yeah, that's a big offense. Ooh, Kareem Huntson, that's new.
Do you check every day?
No, I was checking. Yesterday, looking at waivers.
Mhm.
And I thought it was funny because Evan's the person I traded with this year. We had the Pollard for Lions backup, who I promptly dropped right before he became the starter.
Right. Yeah.
And he had Pollard in. And we had also discussed me trading him Darrell Williams for Christian Kirk, and he had Kirk in. So I was like, man, if I lose to Kirk and Pollard, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. That's always tough. That was a fun week in the group me when you just said, I have 8 players on bye next week. I need to move one running back.
Yeah, that was a rough one. That's why we need every bench spot there is. I want you to vote no on lower bench spots.
Meanwhile, I'm going to compliment you and say this was great roster management. You planned ahead and prepared with the resources that you had, and I'm proud of you for it.
Also, Adam, if we had an extra bench spot, I would have had Miami D and you would have won.
Don't try to. No.
I'm pandering to my base.
That would be a change, and your base is not happy about this suggestion.
O'Malley for no change again and again and again.
You were one of the supporters of the champ bracket versus consolation bracket.
Yeah. How'd it work out? Did anyone do the math?
I did the math, and rightfully, very fittingly so, the champs won 723 to 708.
Wow. Well, shit
Yeah.
on them.
You guys carried Team Smuggy.
That's Jalen Waddle right there.
Dude,
Waddle.
wow. I love his celebration too. That dance, it's so fun. Yeah. Team Jiggy tried to drag y'all down, but we just, in the consolation bracket, we're just not that good. And so
do we get to see a consolation bracket shot? Or is that on the real pod?
I'm for it. I can't. So also, fun fact, I'm high. I also have 2 ear infections.
I thought you were going to tell me you were pregnant. How do you have 2 ear infections?
Oh my gosh. I think it's leftover from the trip to Mexico where my ears got all plugged. I went to the urgent care there, got my ears all flushed out. Lavaged is what they call it there. It's the most expensive massage of my trip, the lavage. Don't recommend it. It's super painful. but then, I had ear drops, did that for a week. And then over the next like 2 weeks, my ears just started feeling worse and worse. And then yesterday was confirmed 2 gnarly ear infections.
Aren't you supposed to get that delicious pink medicine?
No, they just have like topical eardrops now.
That's why you have it. If you had delicious pink chalk medicine, you'd be healthy.
Dude, I'll drink anything as long as it's relatively slow.
I'll take shots of medicine.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So yeah, that's what state I'm in. Jeez. And
I'm sorry about that.
My roster reflects how I'm doing in real life.
Weaver got Hertz.
Yeah, Henry got Hertz. I was actually going to put King Henry as my background, but I felt like we might run into some trademark issues.
Right. You don't want to get demonetized.
No.
YouTube's all about that.
Yeah, we're trying to use this YouTube.
I'm actually about to play some music that's copyrighted to get the whole operation shut down.
Wow. We're using these proceeds to fund our draft party. Damn it. Anyways, once I'm healthy again, I will be taking a shot for the Constellation versus Chumps bracket.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Anything else? Any final thoughts for the fam? You want to talk some shit to Evan real quick? Imagine this is the end of Hot Ones where you can just like, this camera. We only have one, but tell us what you're working on.
Well, I'm working on trying to prank call Evan every night this week to wake up his babies so he gets no sleep. And hopefully he'll forget to do his lineup.
I love that.
Everyone else, here's Evan's cell phone number. To all the fans.
75309.
Apparently, at last year when Alabama played Notre Dame in the semifinal, a bunch of Notre Dame fans got a hold of Najee's cell phone number and were just blowing it up.
Oh.
So he had to turn it off and borrow a coach's phone while he was over there.
Wow, that's wild and scary. Can you imagine? People just start calling you like the day before the biggest game of your life.
Just so you don't sleep. The biggest game of his life is Monday at 5:15 p.m. versus Cleveland.
Are you guys still somehow in the playoffs?
I think like if everyone loses out, we are. But I don't care about the Steelers at this point. I care about my Najee.
Gotcha. And Chase Claypool.
Yeah, right now he's on the bench. I'll decide. I'll think about it.
Wow.
He's been showboating,
Yeah, that showboating was bad.
We don't have room for that here.
No.
We're a fundamentals-based team.
Have you, speaking back to Evan, have you actually been hitting him up? Or do you guys have any side bet on the line?
No, I haven't hit him up at all. I was thinking about like making a bet with him, but then I was like, what are stakes? The stakes is literally the fucking biggest thing. I was like, how do you put stakes on this game besides a trophy?
Everybody loves a good shotgun video, especially in a home that you own. Homeowners shotguns.
Well, so I'm going to be actually out of town.
Oh, right. Vegas.
I'm going to be in Vegas all weekend. So hopefully I'll get to see some football.
Dude, you got a shotgun in one of the pools.
I've heard it's freezing there.
You got a shotgun in one of the pools.
I'll see what I can do.
Right on. Cool. Well, man, best of luck to you. I think, we're coming up on the time.
All right. Well, thank you. Go me, boo Evan. Go People's Pod, #1 pod in my heart.
You really mean it.
Just a couple of best friends hanging out.
Just a couple of best friends hanging out. Yeah, man. Best of luck to you, O'Mouse.
All right. Thanks, man.
Boom, boom, boom. Everybody, People's Pod fans across the nation are stoked that we have Evan Brydon here with us. Everybody, go wild. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me. I don't really know what to do while you're introducing me. Just sit here, I guess. That's great.
Yeah, the life of a famous person, all the random things that they have to deal with that you would just never think about.
Never.
How's life? Can you give us an update? both.
Life is
Yeah.
life is great. Yeah. We're doing it. We have two twin babies. They're both here. They exist now. They're real. They're in the system, so I can't fuck it up. They both have birth certificates. Now I'm liable, so it's real. But it's great. I have 12 weeks of paternity leave, so I really don't have shit to do other than make sure these things live.
Yeah.
They were born 2 weeks ago yesterday, and they were in the hospital for a little bit because it was like right at 35 weeks pregnant when they had to come out. Normally like full term is 40, just for anyone who doesn't know these things, which most people probably won't.
No,
But I'm doing great. They're both alive and healthy and gaining weight, so that's good. I got a little dog who's like pretty happy with life here. Yeah. And I am on baby duty currently. Alice is taking a shower, so I don't know if you heard that cry in the background. It was like sort of just a
Yeah.
not real cry. So if they start actually crying, I need to go do that.
Right on.
Well, that's the baby. I'm not doing shit, man. I don't do shit. I just sit around here, get like those bottles and feeding and whatever, but it's every 3 hours you got to feed them. At least if they ask for food before then, you just feed them because they're hungry, whatever. So you're just at their beck and call. You just clean up their poop, and they think it's hilarious to like, you're changing a diaper, and right as you get the new clean one in, they just like let something go. And oh, that's an action. Oh, that's both of them. Okay. It's like a call and response cheer.
Yeah. Do they feed off of each other's energies?
No, they don't react to sound of each other's crying at all. Like none. They can be 1 foot apart, one screaming, the other one's just happily sleeping.
Yeah.
So it's really just random. All right, let me grab this baby. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm literally just going to grab her. She probably just wants to be held.
Okay. And while Ev Dog is doing that, I'll just do a brief matchup review. Last week, Evan was matched up against the underdog Landry Down Under. Evan started off Thursday with a nice 9-point advantage. Oh, look at her baby. And which one is this? Oh,
This is Jane.
Jane.
She's small, and she's not loving that I turned the light up in here. She's awake.
She's
and a baby. Yeah, Jane, say hi to your people.
Hello.
It's on the pod. Some rare awake time. Mostly
I love the fingers.
Oh yeah, I can swaddle her so that they're down, but she just like squirms the whole time and like doesn't enjoy it. So she's a handsy girl.
My niece is the same way. She loves having her hands over her head for some reason. Oh.
Yes, buddy.
Back to the recap. Scott took the lead Saturday and Sunday early. He was done in the morning round of games. He had a 40-point advantage at that point. And then the rest of Sunday night, you just basically exploded and never looked back. And I'm curious, how were you feeling throughout the week for fantasy?
I was feeling terrible going into it. I had a skeleton squad. I barely fielded a lineup until Scott started an inactive player. I was very sure I was going to lose. Winston's over there chasing his tail, having a great time.
Lots going on in the Brydon
Lots going
business.
on. This baby's trying to fuss, doing a lot of hand tasting. They're delicious, apparently. It's a delicacy. But then once he started an inactive player, I kind of got a good feeling like the fantasy gods wouldn't let me lose with him starting an inactive. Like that would be terrible. And then once it got to Sunday night, and I was like, I needed like 30 points from like 3 Cowboys. I was very confident.
Yeah.
And they were due because the total between the 3 of them hadn't been 30 in like 3 weeks. For some reason, that made me more confident. They were super due. Dak had 30 over the prior 3 weeks total, and then he put up 30 in that game.
Yeah, your team was really hurting. You must have been just so stoked to have the first round bye because your team probably would have lost in that first round, right?
Oh yeah, no, I had 3 weeks where it didn't matter if I scored well or not, and I was terrible every single week. I limped into the top seed with 2 pathetic losses.
Oh man, fantasy is so fun.
It was so lucky that I just won a lot of close games and got the top seed, and then that's how she goes.
Right. Yeah, you beat me by 0.2, and that kept me out of the playoffs.
I don't even think that was my closest win of the year.
That's crazy. That's what they say about the best teams. They find out how to win, even those tough ones, especially those tough ones. So next question, speaking of your team, what do you feel like your best move this season was?
Well, I've had a lot of good waiver action. Surprisingly, I usually just waste all my money and nothing happens with it. I picked up Devontae Freeman, even though he seemed like it was a 3-way timeshare, but I was like, yeah, he could win that. Who knows? And then he did. Yes, thank you, Alice. Say hi to Alice. She just
Hello.
doing great.
Is this the podcast?
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to the People's Podcast.
But I picked up, let's see, Christian Kirk has started for me a bunch of times. He's been solid. He's now the Cardinals' top receiver because Hopkins is hurt.
Right.
Elijah Moore was really good for me for a while until he got on IR and had COVID at the same time. Really, really bad luck there.
Double blasted.
And then I have another waiver wire players. Picking up Foster Moreau last week to spot start for Kelsey was great.
Yeah, he beat Kittle. That was crazy.
I was so lucky. I got a break from George Kittle. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I felt like I've been lucky and good with my moves this year, and that's what it takes.
Yeah, there was a period of time where you were just unstoppable. Everything you picked up turned to gold. Like even Ayuk. You saved Ayuk's season by picking him up.
I did. You're welcome for that,
I think Kyle Shanahan sends his regards and appreciation.
Yeah, where's the money, Kyle?
Where's the gift basket, Kyle?
I had the Midas touch for a while there, and then got lucky this week. Just my team had his best week since week 1.
Wow.
With Travis Kelce hurt or COVIDing, and Brandon Cooks had COVID, and Elijah Moore was hurt. I had like 4 or 5 guys that I would start, and they were hurt. So
yeah, that's it's funny you say that because Adam also had one of his top scoring weeks, even though it wasn't enough, and O'Malley as well. Like both blew up. So pretty different stories there, right? Adam puts up his best or second best, and it doesn't work out for him, and you and O'Malley are able to peak at the right moment.
Yeah, feel bad for Adam. He did his due punishment there. He took all his shots, posted all the videos. Looks like he's gonna have to try just as hard next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
A little more luck.
Just pour those a little fuller next year.
Yeah, I like that. Adam, you got to draft Will Fuller next year for a fuller season. Dope. How are you feeling heading into this week's matchup with O'Mal's?
I definitely forgot to do waivers.
No.
A little busy. I didn't have enough to outbid O'Malley for the Jacksonville running back. So I guess it doesn't matter. I only have $9 anyways. What am I going to do with it? I'll just take it home with me. That's the thing, right? And I haven't looked at the matchup, so I'm very confident. And yeah, we're going to see what happens.
At this point, you're just in the money, and that's all that matters.
Oh yeah. It would be nice to get, to get my name on the trophy. Would love that.
If you get the trophy, would you continue the trend of taking the blowjob shot out of its lap?
Definitely. Maybe not every week, but I don't know. Got baby duty. It's not like I'm going to be going anywhere, right?
Right. Yeah. Unless you do. I don't know. Sometimes you see those newborn babies out at breweries and stuff.
Not in a pandemic, you don't.
Not during the pandemic. That's true. Good point.
They're not
Um,
newborns. They need their shots. Like 2 months is like really when you can take them places.
right. Yeah. Yeah. That was the big thing with my family. You know, we all got the notice. Hey, can you please take your shots and, you know, just stay away from the baby as much as possible. We know you want to carry her, but it's, you know, cold season and yeah, having the whole family hold her, not the greatest. Do you, I'm super curious, obviously you've had a successful season. And so when you're in that position, at least for me personally, I feel like I never really have to make big moves, right? Because you're comfortable, you're winning, you're finding success. You actually went out and made a move. I'm curious if you want to talk about that. And then next level, are there any just misses from your season of like things you wanted to do, but just didn't pull the trigger on?
I mean, there were just misses from my draft, but I don't think everyone has those. Probably not worth going over.
Right.
But no just misses. Like the big move I made was trading Kevin's for Swift. And I played Scott in the semis and they were both hurt. So it's not like it was a big impact there, it turned out. The reason I made the move was because I was like a little thin at running back, and Swift would obviously be like a good second running back. And he had a really good schedule the last 2 weeks of the season. And I was so far out in front, I was pretty sure I was getting the first round bye. So that was my main reasoning for trading my top receiver for a running back.
Yeah, that's super smart. It's awesome.
Was it? Who knows? If he doesn't score well this week, it was not super smart. If he does, then I'm a genius.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're going with the analytics, you know, like you start players that have good matchups and he is a good player, right? It should pan out. The fact that injuries, I always hate when injuries get involved. At least in this case, both players were hurt. So like that didn't really come into play. But like with me and Scott's trade, you know, like Hurts has missed a couple, but Antonio Brown got hurt a ton. So, and then the whole just AB thing, you know, that's always
That's
fun.
the risk you take with AB though.
Yeah.
Like, that's priced in, I feel like.
Yeah. And somehow he's still going to outscore stupid ass Robbie Anderson. Yeah. Not Robin Anderson. Suck it, Gall. The last thing that I have here is just a reminder about the champs versus consolation shot bet. I don't know if you had agreed to it, but we're gonna bully everybody regardless.
I hearted the message and I'm pretty sure that's binding. So
Yeah. And luckily for you, because of your performance, the champs won 723 to 708. So
never any doubt. We had the whole.
Yeah, I mean, we should have, in hindsight, we're in the consolation bracket for a reason. We should have gotten some sort of spread. But you know, we live and we learn. So this weekend, hopefully you will be receiving a lot of shots dedicated to your success, not yours independently, but you know, collectively. But yeah, any last comments? We gotta keep this quick. You know, you got munchkins to take care of.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me on. You know, good luck to all playing except O'Malley. He can his players can all break their legs.
Interesting. You're signing off with the historically good luck omen. Break a leg.
No, literally. Yeah. Break a leg to everybody except O'Malley, like break legs.
Yeah, man. Right on. Thanks for your time. Love you. Let's go, People Spot, huh?
Adios.
Week 17 of the season, coming in hot no matter what you're playing for. Welcome to the People's Pod. This week's episode is from Mexico. Go call it Gall. Suave. Que bueno. Lucky Colin Dolphins defense saved you. Adam takes the sack of deja vu. Just one more week of the season. Throwing all my money on the underdog menage a trois. Champion of Frisbee touchdown. Will either be Evan or Sean? Who the fuck is Sean?